Tales from Mount Earth and the Surroundlands, Part 2. After an hour or so, they arrived at a public house of some sort, presumably the inn. The sign outside called it the Mountain Crescent. It had a yard and stables to one side and a veggie garden to the other side. The carter parked his cart in the yard and unhitched the oxen. He seemed to trust them enough without tying them up. They followed him in. That's where things started to get a bit more strange. In what way? I asked. There weren't just humans in the inn. People bring their pets, you might expect. But I don't just mean pets, he replied. But even the pets were strange. Such as what looked like a miniature taniwha that someone had sitting on their shoulder. Creatures that didn't belong not just in this part of the world, but didn't belong in the real world at all, except in stories, and others that didn't belong in this time, such as what looked like a moa but smaller. Then his ecologist friend had pointed out that there had been many small species of moa as well before they had been hunted to extinction. Other strangeness included the large, apparently English-speaking tui that was singing in the band. So when the bar manator asked for their orders, they were hardly surprised. Their carter friend came over to introduce them. "Evening, Boris. These are some travellers I met on the road. Boris is an old friend. My Bessie is a cousin of his. She's a talker, but Betsy is a quiet. Bessie keeps an eye on her when I'm away, though." Bessie and Betsy. By talker, you mean my two hard-working cart pullers by agreement. Bessie can talk. Wait a minute. You must have come across the border. I remember hearing there's one of them around somewhere. Boris, I think they came over the border. You can ask them about it. You're better at that sort of thing. Did you stumble in from the world of science, electrics and internets? Boris asked them carefully. Is this your first time? They hesitantly confirmed that this was the case. Humans do occasionally. You could settle down here, somewhere around here. Or if you want to learn a bit more about the world, enough to be able to return home, then you want to head to town. Not just the village, the big town. Although you'll be going through the village on the way, my cousin on the other side runs the inn there. The Village Crescent. Us Minotaurs aren't very imaginative with names, I'm afraid. You might even want to go exploring, added the carter. My uncle did that. Just don't go too near the edge, though. Dangerous place is the edge. Beautiful, but dangerous. Are you headed to the village tomorrow, John? That I am, mate. John can give you a lift as far as the village tomorrow. My cousin can probably give you free board tomorrow night. New border travellers will always be popular. If you need something to sell, your news will be a popular currency. So they went with John the carter to the village and stayed at the Village Crescent. They met the village school teacher, who turned out to be knowledgeable enough to fuel their curiosity. There are quite a few cracks between your world and this, he said after he'd found out that they were not only travellers but new across the border. Sometimes our world has major cities or kingdoms near these borders, such as Atlantis or the famous kingdom of Stormhold near your world's village of Wall in, what do you call it, Angleland? You can learn more from some of the places in town. The little college, the postal guild house, and probably other travellers too. Actually, I think they have a resident wizard at the moment. He can probably tell you a bit as well. That was part 2 of Tales from Mount Earth and the Surroundlands. Thank you for listening. There's a link in the description for the ebook on the Kobo bookstore.